Well, here we are again, Rich. Episode 22. 22. Did you
20,
have a birthday card, by the way, last week?
nobody sent me one. Did you get one?
Oh, no, it's in the post.
Good.
Um,
Excellent.
so what was going to talk about this afternoon? Well, it is this afternoon. We're recording it this afternoon. You might
Yes.
be listening to this in the morning, but it doesn't really matter. You might be interested and listening to it over cider, and that's fine too. What are we going to talk about then?
So I had a great chat with a fantastic bloke called Ed Williamson from the Cobra Club. And it's not the Cobra committee that you're thinking of, because Ed makes significantly better decisions, I can assure you. So we're going to hear all about those decisions they made about a networking organisation that now has come to fruition during the pandemic, and a business model that has appeared that is delivering for their customers. And
it's not a Cobra Beer Club then?
It's not a Cobra Beer Club.
Oh.
No.
Right, okay.
Oh. We'll scoot over to Ed now and my good self, and we'll hear what he has to say.
Cool, let's do it.
So, hello and welcome to our interview today with Ed Williamson of the Cobra Club. Hello, Ed. Thanks very much for joining us today. We are focusing, as we always do, on the customers and how things have been going through this interesting period of time we find ourselves in. And the Cobra Club is a really, really interesting networking proposition and service, which I think we would love our listeners to hear about, because for me, it's a great example of customer focused and customer centric business. So, could you just give us an introduction to the Cobra Club and where it came about from?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for inviting me on, by the way, Richard. I'll just say that really quickly. The Cobra Club is a business that was looking for a solution, if you like. So we started from lockdown in COVID, where I worked for the FSB and I like to get out there and speak to loads and loads of different people physically. Lockdown happened, like a lot of other businesses, we had no business. My business partner, Andrew Hatcher, came up with the plan for the Cobra Club over a weekend, and we launched it on the Monday. And the Cobra Club was all the parts of networking, business networking that we liked, trying to remove all the parts of business networking that we didn't like. So we built the business from a customer experience point of view. So our experience of networking up to that point wasn't always brilliant. It was often far too expensive. It was often far too sort of company centric. So more involved in the company who was delivering the networking than it was for the people, the attendees of the networking. And quite often you wouldn't actually get any business from it. So we sort of wanted to spin that on its head, because in effect, we wanted a pool of people who weren't networking and were passing business between themselves so that we could have our business ourselves. So we started with the problem and what people were looking for, and built the Cobra Club from that point forwards. So yes, it's a traditional networking company,
yeah,
but in essence, without the rules, without the regulations, and it's very, very different. So we're open 10 to 5 Monday to Friday. So anybody can drop in whenever they like. There's people on reception, if you like. So you come into a room, just like we're speaking here, Richard, but it's a reception. And then we have breakout rooms, so people can meet their clients and have a hosted breakout room, if you like. And there's no time constraints because it's a corporate Zoom. And we have actual network meetings as well right through the week, and some are quite formal and some are very relaxed, so it fits into what people want, really.
Yeah.
And what you find is that people take from the Cobra Club what works for them. So if you've never networked before, it's a lovely space to sort of get to know, like, and trust people, I think is the issue. But a lot of networking does that, but people don't follow that on. So the whole point of the networking ultimately is to make business contacts and to have experience and ultimately to make money, because that's why we do these things. And the Cobra Club helps you to empower people to actually give you those referrals. So if I understand all about your business, Richard, and I've got a good feel for it, and I actually know you and actually like you, well, I'm quite likely then to refer you into situations, especially if you've told me how to do that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about networking, it's about learning how to give people the ability to be able to pass you on. I know lots of people, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'd refer them to my friends and family to do work for them.
Yeah.
So, and also, you may be involved in a subject that I have no knowledge of at all. Well, it's really important that you're empowered by me so that you can then explain what I do to other people, or I can say to you, Richard, when you're speaking to XYZ type of business, a really good in for me would be X. And then you can go and bring that into conversation and still sell your own service. In fact, it adds to your service because it empowers you to give more to your clients, if you like. So it's a really positive environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that positive environment is the really interesting part from this whole business model point of view. It is that community feel and the way that you're bringing the people together based on their needs and their requirements. And that's something we talk a lot about, in terms of making sure you understand what your customers require at this time. And it is that virtual office that you provide 10 to 5, which is the doors are open. Fantastic. And the really interesting thing, and I think our listeners would be really interested to hear more about, is you mentioned that someone's on reception. How does that work? Because that's not just you and Andrew sat on reception, is it? Can you just enlighten us a little bit how that works?
So the Cobra Club has expanded quite rapidly. So it's one of those ideas that just works. We wanted to make it cost effective, affordable, cheap, so that people can just get involved. Money's not the issue. Time isn't the issue, come on whenever you like. And then people have liked that idea and they've wanted to start their own Cobra Club in their own area. So from March now, we're up to 15 clubs. We've probably got another 5 or 6 in the pipeline across the country. And the people who run those clubs, in effect, host. So when you come on, you're meeting different people from different parts of the country who are business leaders in their own field or experts in their own field, who also know the people in the Cobra Club. So when you come in, you're greeted by somebody. It's always someone different, right through the week. If you need help, they can refer you to people who can help you. If you want a meeting room with your client, they'll put you in a meeting room with your client. So it's just by just visiting the Cobra Club, you're automatically networking. So it's networking without the 1 minute talk and without the having to prepare, without being sort of structured, and which there is absolutely a format for sometimes. So we have formal network meetings through the week. But a lot of the time it's those water cooler moments. It's that chewing the cud with people, explaining situations, having a bad day, looking for solutions to problems. So that's what people just talk about as they're coming in and out of the rooms. Right. That's where the real value is. That's the community side of it. People actually care about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to support you,
and that's absolutely fantastic to hear. Yeah, the idea that the almost the model that you're running there is a customer based model where they're coming in and there's ideas that people are talking about within the network itself, which is driving the business that you have developed from within, if you like, and the idea is coming from the people who are members of the Cobra Club, which is fantastic.
We facilitate it.
Yeah,
it's not about me. It's not about Andrew. It's got nothing to do with us at all. It's about the people who run the clubs. Fantastic. So it's about you guys, and it's not about us. Yeah. And actually, to succeed, that's how it has to be. So there's a wonderful video I once watched called "The Dancing Man," and it's a chap at a festival who starts dancing madly on his own. Yes. And he's joined by his friends. Yeah. And then before long, there's 2,000 people doing it. Yeah. And it becomes not about the lunatic who's dancing. When we first opened our doors in the Cobra Club, it was Andy and me. Yeah. And 2 or 3 other people sort of sat there really. Yeah. So it's that belief that something's going to happen, putting it on. But then as people joined the club, asking what they want and then giving them what they want. So the club is all things to all men, and that's for a price which is it's pennies. So it's I mean, right now we've got 10, it's open from 10 till 5, but there's 10 actual network meetings a week across the country, which all the members can attend. They can all move about the country. There's no extra money to pay. There's no hidden fees or anything, which again is really, we wanted sort of like clarity and honesty and a good vision. So I would rather make a very small amount of money from a lot of people than a lot of money from a few people. Yeah, and I think that's missing in a lot of networking clubs where they're looking to take a lot of money from people before they've actually made any money. So if I've got to pay out £1,000 to be part of a networking club, which is maybe good value for money, I have to have made the sales to justify that. Yeah. And people often don't realise that the net contribution of their business, that £1,000, might equate to 10, 15, 20,000 pounds worth of business. Yeah, you only turn over 30, 40k a year. That's expensive. Yeah. So you have to look at marketing. So we tried to look at it in the perspective that the cost of joining, there is a small cost, but the cost of joining isn't the factor that will stop you joining.
Yeah.
If you like morning meetings, we've got morning meetings. If you like afternoon meetings, afternoon. You know, they're in the evening. So it fits in around people. You know, some people have got kids, some people don't like evening things. Some people don't like I was at one at 8:15 this morning, Richard. Not my cup of tea. But I'll give it a go and I'll try it and I'll see. And I'll just find what works right for me. And I now have a pool of clients that I can work with that I'm not having to go out and market for.
Yeah.
So the cost of marketing to a lot of businesses, especially through lockdown, is prohibitive. It's really, really expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, my cost of acquisition of a client is less than £1.
Fantastic.
And for me, that's really, really good value. So you should start with a strong base of marketing. And I got that advice from people at the Cobra Club.
And so, I think that's the fantastic thing about this model, is the fact that you are hearing from the experts themselves, but in a manner that is a community, is adding value. And that's one of the key things that I think this model is sort of suggesting to us as well. You know, and also the fact that you mentioned there, really quite interesting, that your members have different preferences for times that they would like to speak, times that they would like to interact, ways they would like to interact. And I think there are platforms that you're able to offer that, because a lot of the time from customer experience point of view, you say, you know, don't spread your net too wide because you're not going to be able to capture the people you want. Now, in the old world, that may have been the case, but I think it's a great example here with technology and with an environment that has steered people, or dare I say forced people to go online and to utilize technology. You can actually provide a multiple option, if you like, which is fantastic.
You have to listen to people, because you don't listen to what your clients say, which is where Richard, like the customer experience bloke, is particularly strong. It's you're focused on the client. So you listen to what the client wants, and if the client's asking for something, and we're able to do it. Obviously, you know, the customer should always be right, but isn't always right.
Yeah.
So sometimes he's directed. But actually, what difference does it make to me personally how someone comes to a networking meeting? Whether they like to sit down, have a chat and a cup of coffee, or whether they like the formal 1 minute structured sort of network meeting. It doesn't matter to me personally. All that matters to me is that people who come to the club feel that they're getting the value and the support and the business from it. So we've tried to structure it for that. And if I spin back to Ed's experience, because I have a big badge, which is the Federation of Small Businesses, on my head, because that's what that's my, you know, it's my other job, if you like. I go to a lot of things, and if I paid to go to a meeting and I feel uncomfortable at it, I'm never going to go again.
Exactly.
So I want to get people and really genuinely help them, but genuinely say to them, what do you want to do? Some people want to network once a month. Some people want to network every day. Up to you. If you want to do that, we can facilitate it. And that's really rare in the business networking model. And that's why people are coming to us and they're saying, hold on a minute, I'm paying a lot of money in some cases to get a service that isn't as good as your service, and your service isn't expensive. And that's because really we're run by the members for the members. So it's the structure is there so that it can be run by the people who come. And if people are interested in starting their own club, fantastic. We'll gladly chat to them. It doesn't cost any money to do so, time, but not money. And if people want to get involved and join a community, fantastic. If some people don't, that's absolutely fine. In fact, we do free networking for businesses who just want to come in and network on a Wednesday for free. We'll facilitate that. I'm looking for the right words. We're not trying to stop anybody coming in. If money's your issue, come for free. If time's your issue, come when you're ready to come. Ultimately, without clients, none of us have a business. This is as far as I can see, the most cost-effective form of marketing that I've ever come across.
Great, fantastic. Well, this is exactly what we were looking for our listeners to hear about, and different ways of doing things in environments where traditionally, we're looking at customers going, we're never going to be able to bring new people in, but ideas are there, opportunities are always there. So if somebody wants to, see what you guys get up to, where do they go? What do they have to do?
They pop onto the website, which is really easy, www.thecobraclub.co.uk. And you can sign up there if you want to. If you'd like a tour of the Cobra Club, so a free look around, more than welcome to contact me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Edward Williamson. You'll see me under the FSB, but also see lots of stuff about the Cobra Club. So I'm quite easy to find. Or just ping me an email, ed@thecobraclub.co.uk. More than welcome. If it's your first time networking and you don't want to put your video on, don't even put your video on. I'll give you a guided tour. It's really don't you laugh. People who do that.
It will.
That's absolutely fun. If you want me to prove to you that networking, if you want me to introduce you to people who are your potential clients, I'll do that for you too.
Mm-hmm.
So you would do the same, Richard. If I wanted connections, you would support us. That's what we believe in. It's not about monetizing everything. It's just about helping people. And if we're all helping each other, then we're going to do well.
Great success. Absolutely fantastic. Well, we've given our listeners a chance to hear about that, so hopefully we've involved them in it as well, given them some ideas, and also pop along. Please do pop along and have a look at the Cobra Club if you fancy joining in the virtual world of networking and having a chat with Ed. It'd be fantastic.
I would love to meet.
Thank you very much, Ed, for your time. It's always been a short and sharp little interview here, but hopefully it's given people food for thought. So thank you very much for your time today.
Absolute pleasure, and thank you for yours.
So there he is. There's Mr. Ed Williamson, eloquent gentleman who talked all about the Cobra Club and where it came from and why it appeared in this dark time of darkness. Blimey. So what did you reckon then?
Yeah. What a brilliant guy. Do you know what? I was, sometimes you send me some WeTransfer documents and I'm like, oh, I hope this one's going to be a good one.
No.
And they've all been amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that in the past, but no, I really liked Ed. I thought he spoke some amazing pearls of wisdom, and it made me think about, Rich, the time that we interviewed John Harvey from the Samphire Club. Slightly different model, but what I really liked about Ed's ethos was this community spirit of networking and getting to know people and using the facilities in a way that was really almost creating a bit of a movement, to be honest, to network and communicate with each other. So I thought I was really blown away by that.
I think the really interesting thing was that this offering was born forth of the requirements of customers, of business people out there, and themselves included. We need to get together when we're in lockdown because we can't visit, we can't go to networking. We need to use the technology that's available, all of these digital meetings, etc. And the innovative part of it, although the technology was already there, it was turning that into they're open from 10 till 5. It's like it's a virtual office, and people can pop in, have a chat. And the other thing that I loved as well is that they're developing the community based on what their members want. So the members are driving the interaction. They're providing the content. And as Ed put it, himself and Andrew Hatcher, who developed it, are the facilitators of this great community advancement, if you like. And there's some great ones that you can get involved in. So for me, I'm going to mention the P word, pivoting, sorry. It was flipping things on its head, doing something in a different way, but the technology is always there. Innovation doesn't mean coming up with something that nobody's ever thought of before. Technology was there. They just used it in a slightly different way, and it met their customers' needs. Loved it.
And just on that point, what this yet again proves, doesn't it? In dark times, like you mentioned earlier, it forces people to be innovative. It forces people to think differently because they have to. It forces people to make decisions or choices that perhaps they may have had an idea years ago and they thought about it and they thought, right, now's the time to do it. And we're recording this on the 15th of October, and as we speak, we've got the country in turmoil again. We've got certain areas at certain levels of lockdown. We've got parts of the UK going into complete lockdown. Who knows what the next 2-3 weeks, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in each of our podcasts, so stay tuned. We'll have some excellent tips. But the thing is, businesses need to be fleet of foot again at the moment. We need to almost take ourselves back to what it felt like in March and April. But this time, and this is the crucial point, and this is what Ed talked about a lot, is taking your people and your audience and your customers with you. And the only way you can do that is by asking them exactly as they've done, you know. And I know we talk about it a lot and people are probably bored with saying the same thing, but guys, the reason we're saying the same thing is because it works. We know it works. Talk to your customers, measure what they think, ask them how we can improve or how you can improve. So on that note, guys, if you would like this podcast or this YouTube video to be improved, let us know. Like, comment, let's hear about it. You know, let's hear what you're getting from this. We'd love to know. Is there stuff that you want us to talk about that we're not talking about at the moment? You know, give us some feedback. We'd really love to know what you think. But that's probably enough of us warbling, isn't it?
It is. We're done now. It's actually this recording time. It's not far off cider time. So I'm going to head off into the strange pub behind me, and you know, have a couple of jars. We'll see everybody soon. I've been Richard Knight.
And you've been Ryan Huxtable. See you next week.